Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to HOTFIX.
Jesus Christ.
If you follow me on Twitter, which you should do, at UnitLostGaming, you'll know that I do enjoy a bit of riding of a bike on the road at stupid speed with no protection on, so when you fall off and then you die. But it's still funny. That's why I've got my thing on, my Team Sky thing, because, you know, Froome is British, although really he's South African, but whatever. We'll take him, because he's the champion, so I take him.
Should have been Wiggins, though. Should have been Wiggins.
Wiggins is actually better than Froome, but
he is. I don't know why they picked Froome.
Well, it's because he was the defending champion, isn't it? So they're like, well, we've got to give him. I'd have just fired him. Said fuck off. But whatever, it doesn't matter. You know, I'll take it. Look, team, where's it? Sky, whatever. It's down there somewhere. Just take it. So, ladies and gentlemen, it's HOTFIX. Mr. Kirioff, what is the topic of today's HOTFIX? Mr. Kirioff, what could it possibly be?
Well, you see, sir, I was
my glasses perusing. Take that.
I was perusing various news sites, and I came across something. The Sims 4, big release, big news for EA. They love a bit of Sims. It's sold ridiculous numbers of copies throughout the world, throughout its life, that series. So Sims 4, you'd think, probably going to be
sold
nicely...
upwards of 16 million or something.
I believe it has.
Across the
it's absolutely horrendous.
Ladies and gentlemen, it may possibly be the biggest selling game series of all time. Notice I said series, because not individually, because games like, you know, World of Warcraft, Minecraft, you know, things like, they've sold like in excess of 15 million plus easily. They've got to.
Yeah.
But Sims,
when you add in all the DLC and stuff, it's just just horrendous.
Don't even start me with that shit. Anyway, carry on, Mr. Kirioff. Carry on. Good.
Well, Sims 4, obviously people who like The Sims looking forward to it. But there was news. There was news that in Sims 4, you're not allowed to have a swimming pool and you're not allowed to have a toddler. Now, this may seem like, why is this HOTFIX worthy? Well, I did a bit of digging, son. I did a little bit of digging. And it turns out that actually, this is yet another case of EA being like grade A fucktards. Because you remember the SimCity fiasco, don't you, son?
Yeah, I do.
I love that word,
fiasco. Of course, fiasco.
The fact that it released in a horrendous state, and it was you cannot play it offline, it's impossible, and then turned out you actually could just play it offline because it didn't need to be connected to the internet for anything. Well, Sims 4 could be like a mess to rival SimCity, because through my digging, I discovered a few things. The Sims 4 apparently was meant to be... I've dug dirt, bloke. Dirt and shit has come out.
Oh, no.
And it was meant to be online, like pretty much entirely online. But things went wrong, son. There weren't specifics, but things collapsed. Members of the team who tweeted about how it was not going to work online, their Twitter accounts vanished magically. So there are images of their tweets and nothing else. They were also similarly apparently let go from the team, which is highly suspect. I wonder why that might happen. And so Sims 4, which is due to come out quite soon, I can't remember the exact release date because, frankly, this is the first I've really looked at any news of it, and it was only because it looked like it was a horror show that I paid any attention.
Do you know what I know about
because I'm not a teenage girl, bloke.
The black guy on the advert, have you seen him where he always looks sad? He always looks like this. Like in the cycle, everybody just doing the Sims related shit all around it. I actually now need to wear these glasses because the fucking light off the light is just too much now. Anyway, carry on.
Well, it turns out that, having dug a bit, it's not just the pools and the toddlers that's missing from Sims 4. There's supposed to be quite a big chunk of new features.
Hang on a minute.
Right?
Hang on a minute. So you can't play as a toddler. Well, no, you couldn't play as a toddler before, but you could have kids, couldn't you? Yeah, in The Sims. Yeah. Because I didn't remember actually.
There's teens. I think there's babies, teens, young adults, and old people, but there's no toddlers. Okay. So there's like some sort of mutant growth spurt or something.
What about? I remember this was probably The Sims, the first one. Okay, because I remember my friend bought this. This is a funny story, Mr. Kirioff. You'll enjoy this. So, I have always been into PC gaming since an early age. Right, hardly anybody in England at that point was really into PC gaming, right, of my age, okay? So if you look at me, I'm like 13, 14 probably. The Sims comes out, the first one. My friend had a PC, but what he didn't understand is his PC was so horrendously shit, it could not play any games. Still, he went to Woolworths, Mr. Kirioff. You remember that? People in the UK remember
Woolies.
This. Yeah, Woolies. This is a shop that doesn't exist anymore. Well, it's got an online store, but it went bankrupt.
Sadly.
Okay, he bought...
Now Sports Direct in most places because they own Woolworths.
They own everything.
Or it's the other way around.
That Mike Ashley guy is like a massive billionaire, eh? But whatever. Yeah. So he goes and buys it. He puts it into his computer, and then I remember he phoned me up because we didn't have mobile phones in those days. It was like the house phone.
On the old landline.
Yeah, it's like
pick up the old Bakelite phone with the dial
I
on
remember my mum was like, "Tom," she doesn't sound like this, but this is like, "Tom, your friend's on the phone." Bah. I'm like, "Oh God!" So I go to the phone, and he's like, "I got the Sims, but it don't work. Can you come and help me?" And I was like, "Okay." So we went over to his house, right? The problem was he didn't have. I think he didn't have dedicated graphics. Like he just had like onboard graphics or whatever it was on his motherboard, which like in these days was just terrible. But I had a Reva TNT2 graphics card at the time, which was like really good, right? And I said, well, let's bring it over to my house and we'll install it. So we installed it on my computer and we played The Sims for quite a bit. I remember we sit there on the computer and we'd be playing The Sims. Now we were idiots at this time. That's my in defense. But I do remember at one point actually getting a sim into a pool and then removing the entrance to the pool, or I built a wall around the pool. I did something and he just died in the pool. And also a baby and a cot. I just walled them into a room as well, and they turned into like a little urn of ashes, like they were dead. But that was what I wanted to say, Mr. Kirioff.
Well, people have kind of speculated that was why the toddlers and the pools were out,
because child abuse.
EA don't want people drowning kids in pools. But it's like, I don't think that's the case, right? Because I found a list of features.
Hang on.
Like,
I might have done this
features.
in a video game. I have not drowned a child. In I would class myself
ridiculous.
as an adult in these days, you know. I'm 27, so I've not turned into
Don't necessarily go around walling babies into cots. But the thing is that was like the tip of the iceberg, because I did a little digging after that, because I thought people can't be getting that riled up about the lack of fucking swimming pools and toddlers in their shitty life sim, surely. But it actually turns out it's kind of quite a bit worse than that, because there's like a list of features that the game is supposed to have.
You know what I don't understand? And I know I keep interrupting you, I'm sorry, but you know what I don't understand? There are YouTube channels out there, right? I don't understand most things, but there are YouTube channels out there that all they do is build houses in The Sims, and it's like sim fucking... I'm going to Google it. I'm going to totally Google it now. Carry on, Mr.
It's an absolute mystery.
Shit.
That's something that they'll struggle with, by the way. This list of features that we're supposed to have are now cut out. Now, I'm going to go through these really quickly. I'm just going to rattle them off. It won't take very long.
Give it me.
So, these are all things that should be in the game, but will not be. So, no creator style or colour wheel, so you can't make your own styles. No cutscenes. Sims 4 World is foobar, so you're going to have loading screens between every public space, every house, every parking lot. There's only 5 lots maximum per neighbourhood, and the largest lot size is 50 by 50.
Right,
apparently that was supposed to be way, way bigger.
Listen, I just googled Sims YouTube channel. The first thing that come up is Life Simmer. A video uploaded one day ago, and today each one's over 60,000 views, and it is it just plays The Sims. Hey, carry on.
Christ.
Who watches this?
Terrible.
Maybe we should do it. Let's start it. Oh, imagine how good it would be. But if we can't have toddlers in The Sims 4, what's the point? I want to fucking lock them in.
Fucking murder children.
Yeah.
There we go. Yeah, maximum build height. There's only 3 levels. Can't go any higher than that. Foundations, you can't split the levels or have the ability to have different height foundations on a lot. Example, a house built on a foundation and a shed built without a foundation is not possible. No basements or circular stairs. No clothes shopping. No grocery store. No tragic clown or social bunny, I don't know what those are, presumably some shitty sim thing. No work or school rabbit holes, again, not sure what that is, but apparently it was a feature in the previous one. No private school, no toddlers and pools, no swimming at all or bathing suits. Only 2 heights, children and everyone else. So teenagers, young adults, and old people are all the same height. So it's going to be like the fucking what is it? Attack of the Clones from Star Wars, where they're all cloned from what's his name, Fett.
Yeah,
Boba Fett's dad. So they're all the same height. It's just going to be like that. That is quite.
What the hell?
That's a lot of stuff.
Isn't The Sims famous for its character creation? Well, not famous, but it doesn't have a good character. So you're either going to be this big or this big, and that's it.
Yeah, I think if you're a teenager, you're going to be one height, and if you're anything else, you're going to be like.
What about if somebody wants to
taller.
make that Shaquille O'Neal guy or whatever his name is? You know, that massive guy.
It'd have to be like a dwarf version of him, because it'd have to be small. But the thing is, like that is a long list of shit that is supposed to be in the game and isn't in the game.
And stuff that was in the previous game as well.
Yeah, and the thing is, they've addressed the pool thing. Rachel, who is a head producer, director person at The Sims, the back of Pools and Toddlers.
Is she real, bloke? Or she's just been invented by EA?
I don't know. I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised. But she's done the typical EA thing, which is blame the technology. So this is what she said, right? So the bottom line is that we sat down and looked at everything. Sorry, and we wanted to do for the game. I can't do that. All the new tech we wanted to build into it. The fact was that there would be trade-offs, and these would disappoint some of our fans. Hard pill to swallow, believe me, but delivering on the vision set out for The Sims 4 required focus. Focus on revolutionising The Sims themselves. By the way, one of the things here, revolutionising them, I didn't realise this wasn't a thing in the previous Sims games, but now, apparently, the Sims can talk to each other if one of them's sitting down and the other one's standing up. Which is like... what the fuck is that?
Hang on. So if this is a situation, the Sim goes into the barber's, right? He sits down at the chair. When I go to the barber's and sit down in the chair, the barber talks to me. I talk back to him. Yeah, we talk about stupid shit. We talk about UFC and things like that. It's crazy, right? It's a long story, right? Apparently, he's got a kid who's into UFC, and the kid's 5 years old, and he goes to martial arts training. I don't know. He could probably beat me.
Solid kid.
So we just say that again. So you cannot possibly. You could not have a conversation. If you were sitting down at the dinner table, you couldn't talk to somebody else because you were sitting down. Apparently,
if a Sim was standing up, it couldn't talk to a Sim that was sitting down, and vice versa.
Why would that even be a thing? Like, it wouldn't even.
I don't know. Apparently, that's the thing. That's what I've been led to believe. And also, they can have conversations in groups now as well.
Oh right.
So apparently, before you couldn't do that either. But I mean, this is what Revolution of the Sims. So rather than include toddlers, we chose to go deeper on the features that make Sims come alive. Meaningful and often amusing emotions, more believable motion and interactions, in that you can, talk to someone who's sitting down. More tools like in Create a Sim, except it's more tools in Create a Sim, but you then can't change what they're wearing because there's no clothes shopping, so GG on that.
No, that'll be DLC, surely.
Yeah, it was supposed to launch with no clothes shopping, but there isn't any. So once you've made your sim, that's how they look until the DLC comes out. So you better pick something you like, because after that you're fucked.
That's bad.
More realistic and sometimes weird sim behaviour. Instead of pools, we chose to develop key new features in build mode. Direct manipulation, building a house room by room, being able to exchange your custom rooms easily to make the more immediate environment even more relatable and interactive for your sim. Of course, you can't have circular stairs, basements, or have a house on 2 different levels. And you can only go 3 levels high, but
instead of developing pools,
there's key new features in build mode. I don't understand, right? How you build a room, like how you build your house, directly related to how you build a pool? You know what I think it is? I think this thing has been so royally fucked that they are basically cobbling together like a semi-releasable pile of shit to meet the release date. And the reason they haven't got pools is not because that they wanted to focus on other stuff. It's because they haven't got the fucking resources, because they've got such little time that they literally cannot spend the man hours.
This isn't a problem
on doing it.
This isn't the Sims is just sort of the vector of attack we've got here for the underlying issue, which is obviously the way it would appear EA like to do business, and it seems to be an unending circle of this type of shit going on.
And it's getting worse.
Alluded to
it is getting worse
with SimCity. It's the same thing. I mean, SimCity now can be played offline.
Yeah.
When it was launched, it couldn't, and nobody could get onto it because it was just like, I'm sorry. You know what?
But half the features didn't bloody work anyway.
Well, yeah, I remember the traffic thing where you'd live in different apartments. Remember, your guy
would leave, go to work, and go back to someone else's house, and then leave in the morning to a different job. That's like, what the fuck is that? That's terrible.
What turned me off from that is when, as soon as I realised the size of the cities, I thought, SimCity, SimCity 2000, you can have a massive city. In SimCity.
Yeah.
Well, it's just called SimCity, isn't it? You'd expect to have a massive city, but they're really small. And I was like, "There's no way I'm buying this," and I ignored it.
Yeah.
I was a bit idiotic at the time. Maybe I could have got it and made crazed videos on it, but I didn't. I saved my money because it was a bag of shit. It seems to me like they're doing the same thing. This whole culture of saying the technology. I mean, I'm sorry, the technology. Explain to me what technology is required to add a pool into a game.
I know.
Pools were in the game when the game was launched, and like I said, I was
they're talking about the fact that it's they're talking about the fact that it's like a new engine and stuff. But it's like, okay, it's a new engine. Was your new engine built without the capability of doing water? What's happened there? Is there a problem with water rendering? Is it so massively unoptimized that even attempting to put something like that in would kill everyone's computer because you haven't got time to do it properly? And the other thing as well, all of these features, like fucking
2000
Mode Tragic Clown, whatever the hell it is, private schools, toddlers, pools, that kind of thing.
Yeah, but, like,
it's all going to be DLC because it's fucking.
That's the thing.
It's EA.
That is the thing. It's going to be DLC. You know, like you said, there's no pools. There'll be fucking pool DLC. There'll be like jacuzzi DLC and all that crap.
Yeah.
The clothing
In
thing.
Sims 3,
I mean,
it was supposed to launch with a hot tub, but you couldn't have a hot tub. Funnily enough, in February, after the game launched, you could have hot tubs in a DLC.
You know.
Now, it seems stupid talking about that because it's like fucking hot tub DLC. When I look at DLC, I'm like, okay, how many new maps is this? Not like, where can I send my imaginary person to go for a fucking bath? But it's the same principle. And it's like, the problem with this is that it's just fucking symptomatic of EA for me. EA have been getting worse and worse and worse. Battlefield 3 launched in a bit of a state. It was not great when it launched. Battlefield 4 was a clusterfuck of idiocy when it launched.
Well, hang on.
SimCity was a horror show when it launched.
What about UFC? What about Bruce Lee in UFC? How Bruce Lee, I believe, is a lightweight fighter, or he should be, like maybe a featherweight or something like that. The real Bruce Lee I'm talking about. However, there's a Bruce Lee for every single weight category in UFC.
Yeah,
and
it's £5.29. You can buy a pack
or it's like
for Bruce Lee.
One, is it, or something?
Yeah, it's £1.99 for one, or £5.29 for one for every weight class.
What's that?
I was really when I looked through it, I was really hoping there'd be a Bruce Lee in a wig for the women's one, but even EA apparently aren't that stupid. But it would have made me laugh. Yeah. But, I mean, the other thing as well is that they've got these sim gurus, the people who test the Sims before it comes out.
Who are these
they've
people?
all got Twitter accounts. Idiots, but idiots. And, you know, they test the game and they've got Twitter accounts and stuff. And there's one guy, sim guru Trev, who is a gameplay engineer for The Sims 4.
that is a made-up title.
That is like, what the hell is that? Gameplay engineer. And
it's almost like that time. It's almost like that time. Somebody, oh my god, some like YouTubers from American YouTubers went to the White House, but they wasn't called YouTubers, right? They were called digital influencers. So it made me laugh at it. What is your job?
Digital influencers.
A digital influencer. I influence people digitally.
Oh my god,
that's funny.
That's amazing.
Made up titles for the win.
I am the Lord High Chief of YouTube. But yeah, this Sim Guru guy, there's a fan run Sims Twitter account that was like, when does what completion percentage is the game at now? And they responded with, there is no such thing as a completion percentage for a game. Ship dates don't lie though. Now, to me, that means that whatever state the game is in, when it comes to ship, it's just going to launch.
Yeah.
I mean, for me, there is a fucking completion percentage. Is the game playable? Is it optimized? Does it have a certain number of features that were announced? If the answer is yes, and 90 out of 100, I would say that you're probably okay to release it. If, however, ship date comes round, the game runs like shit, is buggy to hell.
Holy shit.
Or in terms of, let's say, in the case of Battlefield 4, has netcode that means you can die standing behind 8 walls from someone who shot you with a sniper rifle whilst they're already dead.
Oh, no. Or you're immune to damage for some unknown reason.
Or you're immune to damage, yeah. Then that's quite bad. But that seems to be the attitude EA are taking.
Oh my god.
At the moment. Which is absolutely horrendous, because just that one statement off Twitter, that to me, that says it all. That just says it all for EA for me at the moment. It doesn't matter what state the game's in. We've announced it for this date. We're not going to push it back. We'll just put it out. People will buy it, and it doesn't matter if it's buggy and shit and full of issues. So based off what we just discussed,
I would imagine that this is going to be very much like the SimCity. It's even got the same name.
I'm sure it will be.
I don't.
Just spill water on my leg. No!
But like EA are getting worse at this, and Ubisoft are doing this as well. They're starting to get worse with their launches, and they're just launching stuff, and they don't give a shit. I mean, let's just quickly talk. Do you know what this is? It's an EA business card. Terrible, eh? They sent us what is it called? UFC, and they got like a little business card thing, which is not terrible because it means we can get access to games and stuff, which is fine. But obviously, we cannot be bought unless.
I'd prefer it if they finished the games first before they sent them to us.
Oh yeah, that'd be nice, but it's never going to happen. So if like, what's next? You got Battlefield Hardline. Now that is,
isn't that the same engine as Battlefield 4 as well?
It's exactly the same. So let's just, and it's also got assets in from Medal of Honor and things like that. So let me just
all the issues.
We're just going to talk about this, but I'm going to throw a load of abuse at you about this, ladies and gentlemen. So let's just go back to Battlefield Bad Company 2. Probably the
quality game.
Some people say Battlefield 2 is the best, right? But Battlefield 2 and Battlefield Bad Company 2, fairly close, I'd say. I did prefer Bad Company 2, right? Just because the destruction and all the rest of that stuff, and I preferred it. I thought it was quality. DLC came out for that. It was Vietnam, okay? Now, when this came out, it introduced a load of new vehicles, loads of new weapons, because it's Vietnam, a load of new maps, right? And even, like, slightly new game modes and stuff like that. And I think it had the music playing back in from the old Battlefield Vietnam. Remember where you could play music out the helicopters and stuff?
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
The crazy Vietnam music. That was fun. Like, whoa,
Surfing
what
bird and
is
stuff.
it good for? Absolutely not. Again, yo. At your tank as you're killing people. That's funny, right? But that was DLC, basically, right? Because it was like a I don't know whether it was standalone, but it was like DLC. Let's just call it DLC, right? Now you've got Battlefield Hardline, which
it was like a proper expansion, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's like an expansion, right? So Battlefield Hardline is coming out, which is a standalone game, which they are Well, no, actually, because Vietnam wasn't Vietnam wasn't like 30 quid. It was like 15 quid. I'm sure it was. It wasn't full price. But anyway, Hardline's coming out. It's going to be charged full retail price, like Battlefield 4 when that launched. It's going to have all of this premium shit attached to it, all of this extra stuff, new missions, new this, new that, and it's going to be like $120 if you want all of it type of crap going on. But the game, right? The game is just literally, the UI has been transplanted from Battlefield 4. The graphics engine has been transplanted from Battlefield 4. Assets have been transplanted from Battlefield 4. The guns are all the same, basically. They're not really any different. They might have slightly different skins on them, but they're the same. There's no like that just shows you like how that company has, it's obviously EA's influence on DICE, because DICE, I don't think were owned by, I could be wrong, but I don't think they were owned by EA with around the Bad Company 2 era, but EA did publish their games, but I don't think they were owned.
Yeah.
You can see the difference, the difference in quality. But on the flip side of the coin, now this is where it gets really fucking annoying to me, is Battlefield has made more money than it has ever made. And it will do when Battlefield 5 comes out. Battlefield 4 made way more money than Battlefield 3. So to money men, which is the people who run EA, they're just like, well, clearly the consumers want this, let's do it again. What can we make that's a really short turnaround game? What's popular? Oh, Payday 2 is popular. That's Cops and Robbers. Let's just do Cops and Robbers Battlefield. And that's what they've done. I've seen the guys from Visceral, who are the ones making Hardline, right? Claim it's been in development for 3 years. They probably mean 3 months, because there's fucking...
I was going to say, these
guys made Dead Space. Yeah, they made Dead Space, right? And then they went under. I think they got closed, didn't they, by EA or something? But
I still can't work out how the hell that even happened, because Dead Space was massively popular. It was like, what the hell went on there? But there's no way. I refuse to believe, unless someone's going to do it under oath on a fucking lie detector, there's no way it's been development for 3 years. Maybe the idea's been bouncing around, but there's no way the game's been worked on.
You know what? They probably
what the hell have they been? If that's the case, what have they been doing with it for all that time?
The engine's been under development, hasn't it? Because it's been used in Battlefield 4 along with most of the assets. So maybe that's what they're saying. Like, oh, well, we've been developing. It's crap. Like what I'm saying is, guys, it's crap. And I will not be buying Battlefield Hardline. It's shit. It is absolutely shit. I played the alpha. I'm not even going to play it again. They call it alpha. It's not a fucking alpha. It was pretty much finished. Everything was working. Yeah. They just added new features in. It was just shit. I mean, there's no way I would play that. Yeah, we've made funny videos on it, but we're not gonna. I would not say buy that.
It's not something like Battlefield
you'd sit
4,
down. It's just crap.
Play
Battlefield 5. I don't even care. We'll get it. We'll play it because that's our our jobs. But
this is the thing. It's like it's terrible that this is where EA are going, and the fact that it's getting worse, because it is. I mean, as I say. There's no such thing as completion percentage, but ship dates don't lie. That just sums up EA's attitude to me. But I think the thing that's most crushing about all of this, and really Sims 4 is it's just the latest symptom of this issue. It's a very good example of how bad it's getting, in the fact that all these features are missing. And once again, we're getting bullshit excuses instead of actual reasons. It still sells, and that's the biggest problem.
Yeah, my youngest sister, she's like 19. She said... The Sims is coming out this year, isn't it? That's what she said to me. Have you? Well, she actually asked me if I made any videos on it. I'm just like, but that shows you the type of people it's aimed at. People who are not interested in games. They're not like us. They're not like you guys watching this.
They're not the majority of people. Know. I mean, we're talking about how people have
4 is better than 3.
Yeah, and I mean, we've talked here about the fact that people are upset about the fact that toddlers and pools are missing, which it sounds daft in my head, but that's because it's not the kind of subject that I'm used to talking about with stuff missing from games. It's like, to me, the closest example to that is when they said that Aliens Colonial Marines to have co-op, and it turned out to be shitty tacked on co-op. But it's like, obviously, to some people, this is the equivalent of that. You know, they were made a promise, and that promise is being gone back on. But the problem is that this is the minority. It's the vocal minority that have brought this up. And it's the vocal minority that made me dig into this in the first place. Because, like, your sister, for instance, will not know about any of this.
Yeah, no.
She won't care. Well, she's not going to sit there and look through fucking change logs and dev
In fact,
logs. And
she has a Steam account, and all that's on it is The Sims 2. No, 3, sorry.
it's
Sims 3 and like
that's how it's going to be for most people. You know? And the problem is that EA can get away with this kind of shit because the vast majority of people, unfortunately, will buy it anyway.
Yeah. And then the problem the way it starts to like directly affect us is they just start doing it into game franchises which are aimed at us and not.
Yeah,
you know,
exactly.
And then they just fall of shit.
It's like Battlefield 4 is like aimed, is perfectly aimed at us, at our demographic, at what we do. You know, it's a great game to mess about and it's a great game to make videos in. Except it's not a great game to do any of that in because it's buggy as fuck. It's irritating. Battlelog is still a piece of shit. I'm sorry, it just is.
Yeah.
When it came out for Battlefield 3, I was kind of impressed. I was like, it's not bad.
Which is shit.
But why is it still broken for me? You know, what the hell is going on there?
You know,
and
actually,
Hardline,
there was a video.
It's just exactly the same.
There was a video on GameSpot where they did talk about Battlefield games, and they actually raised a point where they said, if you look at a Bad Company 2, for example, you just load the game up, join a match, and you know you can just keep joining games. You can change your loadout, you know, before you get into the game. You know, at all different points. You're not forced to sit there like you are in Battlefield 3 and 4 at the end of a round where it shows you all the stats and then waits and then loads in, and then it's like what? But you can change your stuff on a web browser somewhere. It's like what the hell? Also, the loading times were just abysmal, and they still are abysmal on Battlefield 4.
They still are.
On Hardline, they're abysmal.
I cannot work out what is going on. I mean, my PC, right? Not the fastest PC in the world, but it's got a decent graphics card. It's got a decent processor. It's got, you know, it's using an SSD to run the goddamn game.
Yeah.
Why is it taking 5 minutes to load?
Yeah.
No other game takes that long to load. Nothing. Star Citizen is in fucking alpha. There's a single module released, and I can get into like the drone sim for Star Citizen quicker than I can get into a game on Battlefield 4. Now, how long has Battlefield 4 been out for at this point? Ages. And you're not telling me that Star Citizen's had a fucking bigger budget? Because I bet it fucking hasn't. I bet the Battlefield series has got a bigger budget. Yeah, it's EA. It's their flagship product. Yeah. They must be piling tons of money into it, but they're just doing nothing with it. It's like, it's really frustrating. Because...
Let's leave it at that. And let's see what the people want to say about this. So what we want to know about is, I mean, I know we bash The Sims a lot, but it's not really about The Sims. It's more about EA. This is. We want to know what you think about this whole situation. Do you think this is the unfortunate future we're heading towards, where games are just being spammed out and there's just, well, the unfortunate future from these AAA developers? I mean, you could say it's been happening for the last few years by EA anyway. It's starting to happen in Ubisoft's case as well now. You know, who's next? Who's the next publisher / developer we see go down this path of just...
Please, not Steam.
Blizzard?
Not Valve.
Steam? Yeah, what about
Please, not
Blizzard?
Well, having said that, they never released any bloody games.
Maybe
so
Blizzard already doing
it. Really matter.
Maybe Blizzard already doing it with like Heroes of the Storm. They're just trying to fast follow, to coin a phrase off the twats at Zanga, a good idea which is making loads of money, like all the people trying to make MOBAs. Crytek, look at them, they're in the shit can. Anyway, we're going to leave it at that, guys. Comment below. This is HOTFIX. It's the best goddamn show you'll ever see in your life, and I've got the best goddamn glasses you'll ever fucking see. Mr. Kirioff, you skinhead rage chav. Any last words?
Hang on.
No, what are you trying to do, son? You ain't got better glasses than me.
No, but...
No, see,
I could have been matching, but the reflection is just not...
Yeah, no, you can kind of... You can see all my monitors turned on. 3 of them. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I'll...
What, mate? That's my last word.
At Unit Lost Gaming, follow me on Twitter. At Kirioff, follow him on Twitter. Twitter. I'm going to quit Twitter. And I'll go and get my coat. Goodbye. Hang on, I need to sleep with this hand so I can stop the recording. Goodbye.
Do the Rimmer one.